Welcome back to the channel. Q&A time on everything. Maybe a garage update in there as well. Let's get to it. So I generally enjoy watching these videos and making them. I like talking. I also like listening to these. I just watched a couple people's Q&As that are in like the motorsport fabrication tuning section, and I really enjoy them. So I'm like, boom, I'm gonna do a Q&A. I haven't done one in a long time. I don't think I've done one since I started the channel actually. So I'm going to do one real quick, and then we'll probably get into a garage update. I haven't looked at any of the questions yet. I wanted to keep it, I don't know, kind of a surprise. So I'm going to be staring at my phone a bunch. If you hate talking videos, just go ahead, hit dislike, and move on and go to the next video. This one's not for you. If you just want to hear me ramble for half an hour, and yeah, that's probably what this is going to be. Maybe you'll get a little bit of knowledge out of this, I don't know. But here we go. I'm sure most of the questions are what motor am I doing in the Fox? Sorry, not revealing at this one. There is a motor in here, mock motor, but it's actually sitting in the car, so that's progress. That car, we will talk about that. Nick's car is done, the black twin turbo S550. The turbo kit's over here. I don't know if you can see it or not. I finished welding it up. We're waiting for just like one or two pieces. Dave has the car back. He's doing like fuel system and a whole bunch of stuff on it, wiring. So that car's almost done and it'll be going its way. This is another car that I'm working on, but I got a separate video coming for that, so I don't want to waste any time on that. So let me just get straight to the questions. I thought I had one other thing to know. I think that's it. Sorry if you hear the air conditioner. It is 107 degrees outside in Texas right now. It's miserable. I'm so glad I did air conditioning. It is 71 degrees in here. I'm sure my electric bill's gonna be crazy. All right, so here we go. I'm just gonna start. You probably can't see, but you can see like they're all dark, bold black. I haven't looked at any of them, and we're just gonna start from the oldest and just get going. So, first one, what is your favorite part about a Fox body street car build? Favorite part? Probably two parts. Wiring them. I love wiring cars. That's probably my favorite part. Second favorite part is when they set down on the ground when they're finished and they go on their own power. There is nothing like building a complete car, street car, and it moving on its own power. That's the best part. I don't know if I was supposed to be reading these people's names. I probably won't. I mean, if you watch and you ask these questions, you'll know who you are. So what's the power unit? Yeah, I knew this one's gonna be that one. Everyone's gonna ask that one. Someone asked, does Nick treat you right? Yes, Nick was always nice to me, unlike Dave. Tips for getting into IT. So if you don't know, I do IT for my main job. This person in school for it now, thinking about sysadmin. Any positions you'd recommend? Appreciate it. So I'm a computer programmer. Sysadmins are great. There's fewer normally sysadmin positions versus computer programmer positions. At the IT company I used to work at, they were smaller, but they had probably 30 to 40 programmers and they only had like 3 or 4 sysadmins. 1 or 2 database administrators, 3 or 4 security team people. I would say security is a great thing to get into. That is just becoming more and more popular. Security, banking, programming are all great aspects of IT. All of IT is really good. IT is becoming huge, but if I was to choose a focus, programming and or security are great spots to be in. Data analysis is really hot too. How long did it take you to learn how to weld? It took me a while. My red Corvette, I kept trying to hire people to do some odds and ends for me, and people kept standing me up and not coming through and couldn't get anything done. So finally I just said, I'm done with it. I posted on Facebook, hey, what's a good motorsport style TIG beginner welder? And a bunch of people recommended a bunch of awesome machines. I went kind of middle of the ground. It was like a $1,500 machine, my Lincoln Square Wave. I still have it, I still use it. It's a great machine. I bought it, I set up a cardboard table in the middle of my garage, bought some scrap aluminum pieces on Amazon, and I just started going after it. And I struggled for a long time. I learned on aluminum because I needed to do aluminum. I'm more comfy with aluminum still to this day. But yeah, it took me a long time, months. And I'm still learning. Every kit I do, I get better and better. And yeah, it's hard to get better at welding without just practicing all the time. So, I mean, you just got to put in the work. Watch a bunch of YouTube videos on tutorials, and just go out there and get after it. I think within the first couple weeks, I actually welded my first part on my car. Yeah, it looked terrible, but it worked, and you just get better from there. So that's how it is. But so I've been welding for like 4 or 5 years now. I still consider myself new to it, self-taught. Hey man, I know you like to leash stuff. I'm having a problem. This is probably not for the Q&A. Sorry, moving on. What's a realistic cost of wiring a Fox body street car? Holley, Dominator, leash, switch panel, electric fuel pump. I always get conflicting costs. Just wanted your input on cost, material, man hours. Yes. So, I mean, it varies greatly depending if you want bulkheads and how much streetcar stuff and how many extra sensors. A ballpark price in labor alone for something like that, I would say you would be anywhere from like 4 to 10 grand. I know some of the bigger fancy names out there, they're charging $8, $10, $12,000 plus dollars in labor alone to wire a car. You know, if they charge 100 and something an hour, 125, 150 bucks an hour, and it takes them 60 to 80 hours to do a car, there you go. I mean, it's expensive. You can't wire a car in 40 hours. So if someone quotes you 2 or 3 grand to do that, and they're building the harness from scratch and doing bulkheads and all the extra sensors, it just can't happen. Yeah, you can take a plug-and-play harness and plug it into a Holley and get it done in a significant less amount of time, but something nice that's custom loomed and looks awesome and has diagrams and sheets and everything, you're not doing that in 30 hours. And any reputable shop is going to be charging over $100 an hour. So that kind of gives you an idea. I would expect you to be in like the $6,000 labor alone. Material, I mean, wire and everything. I mean, assuming you buy all the Holley stuff and the leash stuff, like just connectors, wiring and everything is going to be a few $100, and loom and that kind of stuff, a few $100. Holley, I mean, yeah, super broad spectrum. Like if you're doing a PDM system and all this stuff, you can spend $12,000, $14,000, $15,000 in electronics alone, not even including labor, materials, and everything else. So, I mean, you can go from this much to this much. It's too broad of a question. Sonic Blast with Oreos or Sonic Blast with cookie dough or Sonic Blast with Oreo and cookie dough? Man, I'm not an Oreo fan. Alan, he knows who he is. He watches. Cookie dough all the way. And actually, I'm a Sonic Blast with Reese's. Reese's Sonic Blast is actually where it's at. You're doing it all wrong. Why is David so swole? I don't think he actually is. That's a camera trick. If you could have anyone's streetcar, whose would it be? David's DQ'd to proximity. I love Dave's car though. Anyone's streetcar. I mean, I'm not really a clout chaser, and I'm not a huge bandwagon fan. Cletus's setup in the Elko is pretty legit. And they just finished their event and they won. They went 6s with the new big block, and like that's pretty legit. I'm also a fan of Devin Vanderhoof's, his white convertible Fox. That thing's awesome. But yeah, I choose my boy Dave's because I love his S550. All right, and we're continuing on. Let me sort them. Sorry, these are in my requests on Instagram. So we're just keep rocking and rolling. What are your true goals for this build? Yes, those will be coming out soon. A lot of people ask me the goals on this build. I'm not quite there yet because I need to unveil the power plant, and then I'll be talking about the goals. So not there yet, but I do have very specific goals for this setup and this car. Have I ever been in an earthquake? I have not. That's a random question. If I was in Texas and wanted you to rewire my car, would you? I would. I am not I mean, it asks, are you select on the vehicles you work on? I am. But, I mean, if you need a race car, street car wired, hit me up. I am open for business. I am booking plenty of cars. What width rear end and what wheel back spacing on for a Fox with mini tubs? I don't actually know that, to be honest. I'm not good at the rear end widths and stuff. I don't know how narrow they are, and I'm sorry, I couldn't help you on that. What do you think is a good no prep starter car? Fox body. I mean, you just can't beat a Fox body. The reason, Tin Soldiers has some good videos on this, but the reason Fox bodies are good at no prep is their short upper control arm. It allows you to get a lot of geometry for low prep or no prep. So Fox bodies are great no prep cars. Oddly enough, like Corvettes are really good because they have the transmission on the rear end and they got a lot of weight on the back, so they're pretty good, but Fox bodies are really good. Anything can be good. I mean, there's tons of 3rd gens and 4th gens, Camaros and Trans Ams that are torque arm, pan hard bar cars that are out there doing huge work. A lot of 4-link cars are great. I mean, if it's back half 4-linked and has a lot of rear weight, boom, perfect no prep car. You just need something that you have a lot of adjustability on your rear end bars and geometry, and then something that has a lot of weight on the rear. Best ice cream brand and flavor. Tricky one. Store-bought or if you're going somewhere. We have Brahms in this part of the country. I'm a huge fan of Brahms and their ice cream. You know, I'm sure you could get into some fancy ice cream stuff. I don't really do that. I'm just a plain Jane. We actually go to Wiener Schnitzel probably more than anywhere. They have this ice cream cone that they dip in like this candy Fruit Loops thing. It's amazing. So yeah, we do that all the time. And then get some jalapeno poppers. Oh, buddy. Your Trans Am you had, best car you had so far. I agree, Kyle. Not best car, but yes, I agree. I love that car. Why'd you get rid of it? You said it hits its maximum potential. You're referring to suspension weight, aftermarket. What were you referring to? I was referring to cutting up the car. It was still a great street car. You know, it had a factory dash in it, a 10-point cage. You could get in and out and go drive it somewhere. Big radiator up front, electric fuel pump, and like you could go drive that thing anywhere. I didn't want to cut it up to do the 25.3 cage. The T-top still worked. Like it was at a great point in its life to run the times it was running and do good. It was heavy. It needed to be gutted out and a 25.3 cage and made lighter. So it wasn't suspension or any of that stuff. It was the fact that I liked it with the 10-point and the factory dash and everything else. I didn't want to cut it up, make it a race car, and put a 25.3 cage in it. I thought there was value in it as it was as a great street car, full factory frame rails, factory core support, and all this stuff, so it could fit so many classes, and it wasn't cut up. So it was at a good spot, and it sold for a good chunk of money because of that, and it was proven. I have a couple. One, does welding and work ever get overwhelming? Yes, it does. I struggle with welding all the time and have to, you know, relearn and teach myself. And work is tough because I do this part-time. So I don't have, you know, 40, 50, 60 hours a week dedicated to this. I do this on the side and I balance it with my family and my kiddo, and it's very tough. It is very overwhelming. I'm trying to get better about managing my time. What tips, if any, could you give on tuning suspension or racetrack? Learn anti-squat and how to scale a car and that kind of stuff. That helps more than anything. You could be chasing bar angles and doing all sorts of stuff, and if you just don't understand the basics of what anti-squat is, what it does, and some good general numbers of like where you want it for radial prep and average prep and not good prep, it's hard to do anything. You're just guessing. So and if you have aftermarket ECU, get sensors, get ride height sensors and shock sensors and all that stuff. But I think that's the best thing, is learn about anti-squat and how to scale a car and all that. That's a great starting point. Guess you're not going to fit stock suspension. Yes, this has stock front suspension. Johnny doesn't think this does have stock front suspension. It does. These are factory strut towers and factory location. So just because the metal's been cut out, it doesn't matter. As long as the top mounting point for the strut is factory, then you're good to go. So I could run any classes with this. This is a full factory suspension, factory firewall car, so I could run any of the stock suspension stuff. But yeah, I don't necessarily plan on racing any specific classes like that, so it doesn't really matter anyways. Okay, cruising along. Mr. Joe, I got a question about your Firebird. Other than the mini tubs, what did you have to do 1511s, like notching the frame? The frame wasn't notched on that. Some hammering on the, bottom parts below where the mini tubs are, and then a shortened rear end. That's all I had to do. Wyatt asked that. Are you doing a rear mount radiator on this car? Would like to know more about it. That will be coming soon. Yeah, hang tight on that. Engine setup. Oh, engine setback for weight distribution drive-by angle would be awesome. I will be doing a video on that. I'm in the process right now, actually. So, good question. Do I got any more? I'm just seeing if I got any more. What type of tubing bender notcher do you use? Yeah, I don't have a tubing bender anymore. We're working on that. I just borrowed someone's swag off-road or something kit, and then I just got a generic like Eastwood notcher. But yes, I'm looking at getting a Rogue HD bender to try to up my game. I'm not trying to do a bunch of chassis work. Don't even ask me. I won't do it. But for the stuff that I need to do for whatnot. Oversetting engine placement, crank center line. Yes, I'll be doing a video about that. Crank center line, I'm measuring and setting all that up right now. So video's coming for that, don't worry. Alright, so I think that gets all of those requests. I'm going to, so those were ones that were just messaged to me. How do you go about break-in for a new motor and tune? I was told, my last motor, I was told to break it in on pump gas, not methanol. Some people do, some people don't do that. I put it on pump gas, varying RPMs, don't let it idle when you first start it. Varying RPMs, go drive it a little bit, change the oil, good to go. Some people break them in on methanol, doesn't matter. But as long as you just don't start it up and flood it with fuel and let it idle a bunch, you won't set the rings. You need to start it up, check it for leaks and everything, and then you need to start getting it through the RPMs. And it's really good to go out and go into second gear and rev it up to like 4 grand, and then let the engine brake and pull the RPMs down, and then do that a few times, and then get it up into 1-2 pounds of boost, and then rev it up and let it down, and come back and do some heat cycles, and then change the oil. You're good to go. Alright, so I'm going to cut here, take a break, get a drink, and then we'll be back. How far are we? 17 minutes. And then I have more. Those are the ones that were actually sent to my inbox, and now I have all the ones that responded to the second story of the stuff in there. So, yeah, one sec, I'll be back. Once again, I'm sure if you're not listening to me talking, then you're long gone by now. You're not even listening anymore. So, and I do have a treat, so we're halfway through. I do have a treat. I'm gonna give a couple hints about the engine at the very end of this, just for the loyal people, people that actually care. Alright, moving on. How'd you get started doing fab work? I answered that earlier, just couldn't get anyone to do work for me. Are there any projects you regret doing? I regret ever helping Dave. Not really, just kidding. We'll see if he's watching. He'll message me right now if he is watching. But no, there's no projects I regret doing. There's been some big projects that I probably shouldn't have been doing, but they're all good learning experience and stepping stones to get to the next level. So I think they're all good. What's it like being Harper? Yeah, anyways, moving on. Performance goals with the new car. Will it have tags, registration? It will have tags and registration and all that, yeah. Performance goals, that'll be coming when I kind of talk about what's going on and what I'm doing with that car. Are you going to build another TA? I'd love to. Me and Brady were actually looking at F-body not too long ago, talking about it. I'd love to build another F-body. I don't know where it fits. But I'd love to build one for sure. I miss having F-body. Another one will come. Did you decide to go, okay, moving on. Ever thought about building a stick shift car? I haven't. I give mad props to those guys and what they're doing. I used to bang gears too, but no, I've never really thought about building one. Not for me, maybe. You putting a small block Ford in the Fox? I don't know, let's see. Would you ever venture into street or track all-wheel drive build? I don't know much about all-wheel drive. I know Dave wants to do an all-wheel drive truck. So yes, I'd say I'd venture into that for sure. I think that could be fun. Does Nick treat you right? Did I get that one twice? But he does treat me good. Have you picked an engine? I have. It's right here. How did you learn to tune Holley? Same process, I just taught myself. I had tuned a bunch of stock computer stuff beforehand. So I've been tuning cars since a long time ago. Like LT1 first gen, LT1 stuff like, I probably started tuning those in like 2003, 4-ish, on some stock computer stuff, and I've just been kind of after it ever since. So yeah, I just picked it up, taught myself. Once you know the concepts and the basics of like how to tune a car, all the software you can pick up pretty quick. Why did you get rid of the Trans Am? I talked about that. Why not take it to the next level? Man, it was just a great car as it was. So it's good to leave it as is and then start fresh so I could build something how I wanted to build it. Just makes sense. Will a new build be a Grudge car? It will not. Times will be shown on my new car. What's the difference with the red ones and the black ones? Oh, on the Holley. The black ones are the normal ones. The red ones are their new lightweight Dominator. That's like, it uses different potting material. So it's like 1.5 pounds lighter than the red. They look cool. What's the power plant? We'll talk about that. Why Holley Dominator? Man, I just like Holley. So if you didn't notice, I posted a picture of the lightweight Holley Dominator. I do have Holley for this car. I'm not trying to hide it. Fuel Tech, Haul Tech, there's plenty of great options out there when it comes down to it. I think Holley's the right choice for me. I know it, all my friends are using it. It just makes sense. I got Dave's car going on Holley. Like, it just, you know, I've got my buddy Brady's cars on Holley. Like, I'm a firm believer in whatever you and your buddies are using is what you should do for a computer system. So like, if I'm going to the track all the time with Dave, and that's why I bring that up, it's like Dave and Brady's car, like I'm going to the track all the time with them using Holley. Well, it just makes sense then for me to do Holley regardless, big block, 6-cylinder, whatever motor I put in there. It doesn't matter, like the software is the same, so it makes sense. And like if you are doing a new computer system and you don't know what to choose, one, ask your tuner. That's, you know, the first judgment of what system you should get, but also ask all your buddies. If all your buddies that you go racing with all have Fuel Tech, well, you'd be stupid to put Holley on your car. Like, then, you know, the next time you're at a track, you're like, oh man, I'm having this boost problem. Can you help me out? They're like, I don't know, Holley. Like, we all got Fuel Tech. Well, then it makes sense. You should have put Fuel Tech on your car. So I think there's two aspects. One, lean on your tuner first, see what they want to do. But most tuners will tell you they're all good and can do what you need them to. And then I think talk to your buddies. Dave's got Holley, Brady's got Holley. All my close friends that I go racing with have Holley. So guess what? I'm gonna do Holley. Like, it just makes sense. And it can do anything that any of the others can do. So, but I am about to do a wiring video. I'm waiting, I gotta move some stuff around. I'm getting a toolbox. I have just crazy amounts of wiring stuff in there, from tools to electronics to super cool stuff. I want to get my toolbox, I'm going to get it all laid out, and we're going to make an awesome video about the electronics for this car. I have gone overboard. I can't wait. It's going to be a blast. So yes, that's coming soon. Maybe in the next week or two. I'm trying to catch up. My family, they went out of town. My wife is visiting her family. They go up there during the summer because my wife's a teacher. Anyways, long story short, I have extra time when they're gone, you know, nights and weekends to work on cars. So I'm trying to get caught up and get stuff going. Soon. But anyways, so there's my answer why Holley. Sorry, it was kind of long-winded. What tubs did you have on your Black Fox? Do you have any rear-facing pics of the interior? I may try to get back to you. They were just mini tubs. How fast are you trying to go with the new car? Super fast. How did you go about break-in for the new motor and tune? I talked about that already. Maybe there's a double message. Brady, Road Trip just talked about goals for the new car. Brady, you're like a video or two ahead. Once I release what we're doing here, then we'll talk about goals. But he already knows what the goals are. He helped me decide what I'm doing with this. What's your favorite Bluebell ice cream flavor? Like, can you beat vanilla bean? I don't know if you can. I don't think you can. Homemade vanilla or vanilla bean? Just vanilla, man. Like, and you can put stuff on it. Caramel. Is it caramel or caramel? I don't know, but you can put stuff on it. Supercharged big block or giant turbo small block? Both great options. I got a buddy named Brennan that is like on the big block bandwagon. He's been telling me to do big block for years. It's funny because he doesn't have a big block, but I get closer and closer to a big block every day. I really do. Non-IEC idle setup. Yeah, on Dave's car we're using timing to control idle without the IEC, but I want to put an IEC on his car. They're just better. And like if you have Holley, it has all the stuff for it. Like why wouldn't you just run one? So we're gonna put one on Dave's car. But right now it uses timing to adjust RPM. It works okay. Tips on getting into IT. I think I already answered that. Maybe I got some duplicates here. Best ECU to use if you want to build a no-prep street car. Any of them will work, man. Holley, from the Terminators to the Dominators, Hall Tech, Fuel Tech, they'll all work. Stock computers, like you can do whatever you want. What motor did you choose? Yep. What engine combo? Yep. HP or Dominator on a basic setup. HP can, I've seen people run 4s in the 8th on an HP combo. It can be done. You can do it. Realistic cost, I answered that guy. What are you mocking up? What are you mocking up? Radioactive fab asked me that. I don't know. I don't know what he's referring to. Maybe a picture I had up. But yeah, I'm sure it was this stuff. Mucking up an engine. Can you do a video on suspension? Yeah, we started one. We need to finish it. What kind of dang motor are you putting in this one? Yeah, I'm about to talk about it. Who do I contact to wire my Holley Dominator on my Turbo Gen 2 S550? Just shoot me a DM on Instagram, Zach. I will talk to you. Rear mount radiators, do's and don'ts. That's a good question. You know, I don't know if there's a lot of do's and don'ts. Do as big as you can. I think that's the key. Like I had a huge one in my Fox. Do as big as a radiator you can and then angle it. You'd really like, and I could have angled mine more, but I had like 6 inches of drop from the back to the front. Just helps air get in there and out. I could have gone more, but I didn't want to see the radiator from the back when you're looking at it. But I could have done like 7 or 8 inches and you still really couldn't have seen that. But get a lot of the angle to it, Get a lot of angle to it so the air from the front can get in there. Do as big as you can and then do a good shroud with good fans. And that's the best things you can do for a rear radiator. It'll cool great. Mounting a cable drive fuel pump, how do you decide on its location? You know, if you're doing a cable drive in the back, you know, you're wide open on location. Normally, you know, you want to do the same side of the car as where the pulley's at just because it's easier. So like on my Fox, the pulley was on the passenger side. So then the cable could just come along that frame rail, go up and over, and it stayed on the frame rail. And then I kept it along the frame rail to the back. And I just had the pump mounted back there on the parachute bar right next to the frame rail. The key to those is you can't do a lot of craziness with the cables. You can't bend them that tight, and you need to secure them every 6 inches, so it's just good. You know, if you can keep the cable along the frame rail and just have the pump near the frame rail, that's your best bet, really. And then have the pump behind the sump of your fuel tank. So if this is, you know, we're looking at the side profile of the car, if this is your fuel tank, you need the pump behind the fuel tank. So when you're giving it gas and G's and acceleration, it is draining and gravity feeding the fuel pump from the fuel tank, and the pump is behind the fuel tank and then the fuel pump. If your pump is ahead of the thing, gravities and G's can starve the pump. So that's a good piece of information. So that ends the Instagram questions. I had quite a bit. Thanks. I mean, we're what, another 10 minutes? So yeah, we're knocking on 30-minute long video here. I had a few on YouTube, which is funny, like no one really responds to the YouTube posts. But I post the videos on YouTube. Weird how that works. Let me see. When will it be running, or at least when will it be rolling? I mean, it rolled into the garage, but it'll be a while till it's rolling again. When will it be running? I think my current estimate is like September, October. Parts are hard to get. Everything's just slowed down right now. I'm actively working on it and making progress, but yeah, I think I'm in June now, so another 3 months or so. I'm getting some paint work done too. It takes time. Just everything takes a little longer. My last Fox I got running from a bare roller to running in 3 months. Just can't do that anymore. It's too hard to find parts, and yeah, so it is what it is. But yeah, I'm hoping like September-ish. Why are you still friends with Dave when he clearly never gives you the ice cream you deserve? That is the truth. Dave hasn't bought me ice cream in a long time. Maybe we won't let him back in the garage until he shapes up. With the amount of money you spent on the roller, do you think you'd be able to build something like that, if that caliber, in your home garage? And how much would you guesstimate it would run dollars once it's all said and done? I mean, I had a video on this. You should go back and watch that. But yeah, you can nowhere near build this kind of roller for 50 grand in the garage. And now that I've sold the electronics and stuff, I'm like at 38 or 39 grand is what I'm into this roller. I mean, parts alone, you can't even come close to that. It's like $75,000 in parts, not including any labor or a whole bunch of stuff. Like, to replicate a roller of this level, no paint. To replicate a roller of this level, like, and even if you build 90% of it in the garage, like, it's still going to cost you like $90,000, $100,000. So, yeah. And then once it's all said and done, yeah, sky's the limit. Just depends what you do. I mean, you do a junkyard motor, yeah, you can be into it a lot cheaper. If you do a billet motor, you'll be into it for a lot more. So that's kind of varies. Would you ever build a nitrous car? Yeah, I would. What motor setup you doing? We're talking about it. You win any tournaments with it? Of course. Having a fast race car is cool, but all about being a driver on the street takes the cake. Track only or street track? I mean, my name is StreetCarJoe, so boom. Quick rundown converting tunes from race gas to methanol as far as fuel and timing. Like, you just gotta look at your methanol timing and fuel. Like, timing's pretty similar. Like, if you're going from C16 to methanol, your timing's gonna be pretty similar. You may be able to get more aggressive with the methanol, but your fueling's the big part. Is like, you need to make sure you're fueling it accordingly. Methanol takes a lot of fuel, and you make sure you're got proper air fuels. What Fox body parts are a must for a fast street car? Great suspension. I mean, I think the suspension is the key to most things working. Small block or big block? Great question. Both good motors. And that wraps up YouTube. There was only a handful on YouTube. So that finishes my video. If you hung around this long, you are real troopers. You guys are great. I appreciate you guys hanging around and watching all this great content. I'm going to keep rocking and rolling on this car, and I'm plotting the motor and stuff. A couple hints on the motor: it is not a big block. I would love to do a big block setup, maybe in a different style car. This one, it's not a big block, and it is not an LS. So there you go. Those are two hints, and I will say, don't unsubscribe if you love LS, because I know a lot of my fans are LS. I still love LS engines. They're great engines. I will build another LS car probably sooner than later. It may be coming up really soon. Me and some people have been talking about doing something. We could be turning into a channel that's got a whole bunch of cars. I don't know, but my focus right now is I gotta finish this one up. I will say another hint, so don't unsubscribe if you like LS engines. More will be coming. And if you're a big block lover, hey, I want to do a big block too in time. Someday it'll happen. But I will say, if you like Ford power plants and Ford cars, you will probably want to stick around and see what's coming. So anyways, I am going to wrap it up here. I don't think I have anything else. Quick garage update. I said Nick's car had left. This is another car I'm working on, doing a turbo kit on it and helping him with some wiring. I'm working on the turbo kit right now. Turbo's mounted and hot side's done. I'm trying to get the cold side knocked out in the next couple days. And then that car is actually going to be leaving. And then we got another car that the guy's been talking to me for a while, and he is probably bringing his car within the next week. So we'll have another car, and that's a huge project, twin turbo, custom turbo kit, and I'm wiring the entire car. So that's going to be a big project as well. Rock and roll on my car. I'm going to be unveiling what engine I'm doing here in the next couple videos. So hang tight for that. The engine and transmission are currently getting mocked up. I'm working on that. And yeah, like I said, I got an electronics video coming where I'm going to go over all these new tools I bought and all the electronics that are coming into this car. I'm doing a lot of new stuff that I didn't do in my last one. So I'm going to be going over all of it. And yeah, I'm making some progress. I filled a bunch of holes, and I'm about to move to the interior, keep filling holes, mock up the engine. I'm doing videos on all this stuff. And then, yeah, they're just going to keep coming. Like, content's going to be getting pretty regular. I know there's been a couple weeks now that I haven't done one. It's just I've been getting caught up. parts are slow to get. Like there's a lot of stuff working in the backgrounds. However, I will say 90% of my parts are here for this car. Maybe not 90, like 80% of the parts are here for this car. So progress is about to really start taking off. Fabrication is going to be starting in no time. It appears I may be building my own headers for this thing, so stay tuned if you like that. I've never done that. It's going to be a learning experience for everyone. I would love to make a great, thorough content video like that where I really talk about the in-depths and stuff. I just don't know how to do that, so maybe you guys can help me out on that. Anyways, long-winded. Sorry. Thanks for sticking around for this. 30 minutes of just me blabbing on and on and on. Be sure you guys like this video. Subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next one. Hopefully next Sunday. Boom.